How trustworthy is the real estate industry? Well, I just had a really interesting conversation, and it was a wholesaler and we'll call it a discount broker, coming together, and definitely had some misinformation. So let's cover what a wholesaler is. Wholesaler is someone that finds a buyer, or excuse me, a seller, wants to sell their property, and they say, I will sell my property for $500,000. And so the wholesaler now makes some calls and hustles around and says, okay, well, if I can get this sold for $550,000, then I can make that margin right there of $50,000. They essentially put it under contract, and then they start hustling around looking to wholesale property. Sometimes they will put it on the market, sometimes they won't. The challenge is that the wholesaler is not the owner, and a lot of these wholesalers, it's borderline because they're not usually real estate agents. I do know some real estate agents that do wholesaling, and that's when it becomes ethical, because a real estate agent, if you sign up a real estate agent like myself to sell your property, our goal is to get you as much money as possible. And it's really hard to get you as much money as possible when we are wholesaling it, because I know that it's worth $550,000, but we're going to do a contract for me to buy it from you for $500,000, and then I get the margin in between. So yeah, the ethics there kind of borderline, right? So that's kind of the gist of a wholesaler. Now, what I call a discount broker? And it would be, the reason that I use the word discount broker, and I know that there's another term for it, but it's someone that is not a full service agent. So if you hire me, I show up in person, I tell you what I'm going to do, we get to know the property, and we market the property. I'm the guy that you call when you have questions. If another buyer's agent has a buyer, I'm the guy that they call to best represent you, protect you. And discount brokers, and don't get me wrong, like, I'm not bashing discount brokers. There is a place for them. Some people want to utilize that service, so this is not a bash on them. It's just that they do things a little bit differently. Sometimes they charge a smaller percentage or a flat rate fee. I've also called them flat rate fee brokers in the past. And essentially what they do is you take the photos of the house, you write the description, and I'm going to put your phone number in the MLS, and people are going to call you. So a buyer's agent who has a prospective buyer is going to call you. Or a buyer that sees the house is going to call you. I don't know how much those agents do marketing, so you're probably not going to get social media posts. By going on the MLS, it'll go on to Zillow and things like that. But you're not going to find these guys doing open houses. I went to one the other day, and I guarantee, the guy's 6 hours away. He's never been to the property. He let me know that he's never been to the property. He had a really hard time communicating with the seller. And the challenge with that is that the seller is the one that people are calling. And so sellers typically think that they're going to save money by paying less in commission. Well, you get what you pay for, right? Like free services, you get what you pay for. Cheap services, you get what you pay for. So anyways, again, not bashing those. But I just got off the phone with a wholesaler who was using a discount broker to list the property. So now we're 3 levels disconnected from the seller, okay? Like if the broker didn't post much on photos, you have to now call a wholesaler in Massachusetts to talk to him, who he also hasn't been in the house. He even let me know that the seller was very difficult to deal with, and Setting up showings was really hard, and everything else like that. So I can only imagine if you got under contract what that would look like. Is there a property condition disclosure that is filled out properly? In the listing that the discount broker put up there, it says owner's phone number and the phone number to the wholesaler, so that's misleading. I know for a fact, I had one earlier this year. It was only on the market for maybe a couple hours, but a discount broker put it on the market, and it was a husband and wife that owned the property, but only the wife signed the documents. And so they're very removed, right? They're not asking a ton of questions. They're basically like, hey, you send me the information. I'd be curious. I bet you there's some kind of a disclosure that you get that says, if there's any bad communication, like too bad, so sad, that's not on me. So, as real estate agents, I've seen a bunch of videos that say we don't do a bunch of stuff. And I will tell you, there's a lot of agents that probably don't do very much. But we also get a bad stigma. And no doubt that someone that calls this phone number and gets this level of communication or miscommunication is definitely going to be wondering what real estate agents do. So it's really interesting, and I've been in the business for a while now. I've made lots of phone calls to buyers, sellers, agents, things like that. And I will tell you, I sometimes I can sniff this stuff out pretty quickly, and then I'm just sharing that information with my buyers. Like, hey guys, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get into this house, and we're gonna have to do extra due diligence. Sometimes my buyers want to move forward with that, sometimes not. So it's very interesting, all the information or misinformation that's out there in real estate. So again, you don't have to use me as a buyer's agent, but I will tell you, if you're looking to buy a property, it is extremely beneficial for you to use an agent. I know that's come up in topics a lot with the National Association of Realtors, lawsuits and stuff recently. Well, now I could just, I don't have to use a buyer's agent, or I have to sign this document, so I have to go. Well, the clients that I work with, we've been signing buyer's representation for years. And when we sign that representation, that's saying I'm going to be looking out for them. Now, can things happen? Absolutely. But I'm going to do my due diligence. We don't just go show a house. Like, I pull up information. I'm talking to people. I'm getting any documents that are available to send over to my buyers. I'm making sure that when they do a transaction, that it's going to be safe. We've got errors and omissions insurance, so you're protected. And I've done this, and so I can see some pitfalls, and we do our best to bulletproof your transaction. So anyways, just wanted to share that with you today, because it's always fun seeing this kind of stuff, and thought I'd take a moment to explain a brief overview of what wholesalers and flat rate brokers do. BK knows the way.